Welcome back, everybody, to These Aren't the Nerds You're Looking For. Kevin Horde here.
Lorenzo Fon sitting here.
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Just making our way through. We are recording a shit ton right now.
Yeah, we're kind of on a recording roll here. Yeah, how many times have you watched that trailer today?
I did watch it a few more times. So
I actually didn't have time, but I will probably do that as soon as this recording is done. And
just another review, just to see if there was anything else we missed.
Absolutely.
But I think we talked about it exhaustively yesterday.
I think so.
Yeah. What do we got going on for this episode?
So this is the 85th episode of the Clone Wars. I don't know. My spreadsheet says 85, but I've got 86 on my notes.
Nope. I got 85.
Weird. 85 it is.
Yeah.
Season 4, episode 15, entitled Deception.
Mm-hmm.
Production 407. Original air date is January 20th, 2012. We're still in 20 BBY, and it looks like we'll be there for a little bit.
Very nice.
Yeah, so there you go. Directed by Kyle Dunleavy. He's kind of a Clone Wars staple. Written by Brent Friedman. Not a name that I recognize as being a repeat offender on the show. So,
oh yeah,
we'll have to see how Brent treats us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Fortune cookie. All warfare is based on deception. Is it
Palpatine?
I thought Palpatine as well. Or Dooku, but I was definitely... It sounds like something Palpatine would say to justify his actions.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere along the line. But, yeah, I totally agree with you. And I don't think we see Palpatine in this episode.
Not at all. Even though the plot is... he's sort of the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
In a weird way, he's the MacGuffin, but he does not appear one bit at all.
Yeah.
Has no actual bearing on this story or plot, so.
Tangentially, I think. But we can get to that.
Yeah, but not in a direct manner.
Right.
Yeah.
So the newsreel is just a straight up setup for this episode. A terrorist threat ! And then we're name dropped Moralo Eval.
Yes.
We see him getting taken into custody. Apparently this guy has planned the kidnap of Chancellor Palpatine.
Yep.
And the Jedi Council, quote unquote, hatches their own plot to keep the Chancellor safe. So we do see a shot of the Jedi Council in the newsreel, and they're obviously discussing something. We don't get any dialogue. Obi-Wan looks a little stressed. Who knows what that could mean. From there, we cut into the episode proper, and we've got Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka, our trio of heroes, taking a midnight stroll, it looks like, and just kind of doing a walk and talk. At this point, a sniper is revealed, and so they go on the defensive. Obi-Wan goes high, Anakin is supposed to go to the left or something, and Ahsoka takes down low for whatever reason. Right. We got some parkour shit climbing up the sides of buildings, which is kind of nice. And basically, immediately, Obi-Wan seems to just kind of give himself over. He just walks out from behind whatever he's hiding behind, and gets shot, knocked off a building, and falls down, smashes on a car. Anakin takes off to try to apprehend the sniper, and is fooled by a smoke bomb. He's defeated by smoke.
That sniper Batman's out of there.
He does, man. It's a smokel detonator, I think, is what he sets off. This thing is pretty big. But he gets away. So Anakin heads back to his buddy Obi-Wan, who he finds out is deceased.
Yep. Obi dead.
That's what the name of the episode should have been, is Obi Dead Kenobi.
Obi Dead Kenobi. There's a dramatic scream from Anakin.
Very much so.
Yep. We get a nice above shot looking down as Anakin cries out in anguish over the death of his friend Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Now, is this the first time that we get the Imperial March cue, musical cue? Because it happens like 3 or 4 times in this episode.
I don't think so. I'm pretty darn sure we've gotten it before already.
No, I mean in this episode specifically.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But there's a lot of dramatic moments where Anakin is framed so, in one way or another, or in entrance to a room, or a grimace on his face, and we get that death march.
Mm-hmm.
Not even really disguised at all. Just straight up.
No.
We're just gonna cue it, and we're gonna play part of it, and move on.
Yeah.
So we got some mad jumping skills that already happened. Obi-Wan's dead. We cut to a funeral, and Satine is there. She's very sad. She and Padme are crying. I've got this episode marked as having Jar Jar in it, so I'm thinking that he's in this funeral scene as well, although I did not pick him out. That's the only
I did
place...
not notice him myself, yeah.
That's the only place that I could think that he would be, but he didn't stand out, right?
No, not at all.
Ahsoka is worried. She says basically that Anakin hasn't said a thing since Obi-Wan's death. And we get some lamenting. It's not a traditional, or what we have seen as traditional Jedi funeral. No pyre.
Yeah.
His body does not burn. I'm guessing this takes place in the Jedi Temple, so to have some outsiders be brought in is a little out of the ordinary to me. I think I don't think that civilians or politicians are normally allowed into the Jedi Temple. It seems like a pretty just Jedi space. And clones, right?
Yeah. In Phantom Menace for Qui-Gon's, was it all Jedi attending the
but that wasn't
funeral pyre?
That wasn't at the Jedi Temple.
But still, is it?
No, because Palpatine's there. We got some.
Oh, right.
We got some guards. We've got a bunch of Nabooians.
Yeah, just if it's usually only Jedi that kind of attend other Jedi funerals, but I guess not.
Yeah, I was more thinking like specifically outside visitors into the Jedi Temple itself. Not necessarily that it was the Jedi funeral, but that it was taking place inside the Jedi Temple. Been
told explicitly that nobody's allowed in, or are you just making the...
I'm just making an inference because I don't remember in the past seeing civilian visitors. So that's the only reason I'm bringing it to the attention,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I never noticed that, that we don't really see outsiders come in. I've never made it didn't stand out to me because I didn't think like for a funeral of Obi-Wan, like no, Satine, you cannot come, nor you, Padme, fuck off, right?
I feel like there was a surprising lack of other Jedi Masters, right? Obi-Wan's one of the most prolific Jedi of his time, and pretty much everybody knows him. Even when he, it's like when he was trying to go undercover a couple episodes ago, they're like, I recognize you. You're that Obi-Wan Kenobi guy. And this is the Outer Rim, and we're trading slaves, and now you're going to be a slave, Obi-Wan.
If there's a lack of anybody at his funeral, I'm literally going to chalk it up to they didn't want to draw them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like Cody,
or
Rex. I mean, I guess they could be on mission,
Gonna say they don't want to draw them.
Sure.
But you do bring up a good point. But I think if I had to garner a guess, it was more people, more render, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I always think, when you already have the assets, it's not, obviously there's rendering, but these episodes are pretty packed full of shit, and there is often erroneous things. So, bringing Cody and Rex to Obi-Wan's funeral, I think these guys would be there. Another thing, Satine being there, I mean, she got there awful damn fast.
Right.
So maybe she was already on Coruscant, which I don't know why she would be. So I don't know. Hyperspace is always one of those weird things where it's like, is it instantaneous? Does it take time? Because the Millennium Falcon on the way to Alderaan in A New Hope is like an overnight thing. Yeah. I think the guys from Star Wars Minute joked that when Han's like, we'll be there at 0600 hours, it's more of like 600 hours. That's how long it's going to take us.
Right.
So, but sometimes it's straight up instantaneous. Like you jump into hyperspace, you get to look around, everything looks cool, and then boom, you're there.
Right.
So, anyway, she got there pretty quick. I don't know if there's some shenanigans going on between the two of them still, or if their love is all the way in the past. It's definitely in the past now, seeing as Obi-Wan is dead. So we must have... I think the deception of this episode is that the Obi-Wan that we have known from episode 3 and beyond is an imposter.
Like Paul McCartney?
Yep. Paul McCartney really is dead. Check that one out. That's a deep cut of conversation between me and Lorenzo off the air. Anyway, at this point, we cut away from the funeral to some seedy underbelly bar that has a super awesome serpentine bartender, for the lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I think this guy's given a name, right?
Nope, not at all. And not even named in the Wikipedia that I could see. I didn't search the cast or anything, but...
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's got to be a voice credit to him, because he does talk. He talks to this random guy that comes in. There's a lady sitting at the bar that is hitting on him. I think the first thing out of her mouth is like, I'd like to count his midi-chlorians or something like that.
Which is the weirdest thing.
So he orders a drink, sits down, and then proclaims to be the sniper. He says, I'm here to celebrate killing a Jedi. I killed Obi-Wan Kenobi, and everyone cheers, which lends more to what I was saying earlier, that Obi-Wan is a well-known person.
Yeah.
Why do you think these people would be cheering that Obi-Wan is dead?
Well, are they cheering that Obi-Wan is dead or that Jedi is dead?
Either one. I mean, either way.
Right. So, maybe they don't need to know that who Obi-Wan is, but maybe they're bounty hunters that don't like Jedi getting in their way.
So is this just like a bounty hunter bar?
Maybe. It could just be like a bar not specifically for bounty hunters, but it just turned into one, right? So it could just be a lot of anti-Jedi folk there.
It's like when your favorite hole in the wall is all of a sudden a gay bar. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Something like that, right?
Gotcha. Because they had Cosmopolitans on special or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah.
Sorry if that was rude to anybody. Moving forward.
Horrible stereotypes you are.
Yeah. I apologize. And I'm moving on. Moving forward, we cut to a walk and talk scene with Yoda and Mace. And the first time you watch this, you're like, holy shit. Because Mace is like, oh, Yoda, do you regret it? And Yoda's like, kill a Jedi we had to, or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? So it's revealed that they're like behind the death of Obi-Wan. And then that's kind of the wind is let out of those sails pretty quick, because they walk into some door. Looks like a med bay. And lo and behold, Obi-Wan is not dead. He's sitting there on an examination table getting checked out by a droid, which also tells me like how accelerated this timeline is, because we've already had the funeral, and Obi-Wan is like just now kind of getting checked out from what's going on. And, there's some wisecracks. Obi-Wan's like, how's my funeral? And Yoda says, your corpse put on a better show than you did. And Obi-Wan's like, hey, I fell off a building. I could have really hurt myself. And
Obi-Wan says that he could have died, like, for real.
Yeah.
Which is weird. And Yoda points out, it's like, you've been through much worse.
You've been through much worse, and Anakin knows that. So we got to accelerate our plan here before he figures something out. And Obi-Wan makes a point of saying, keeping Anakin in the dark is what really sold this. Mm-hmm. Which is so weird.
Yeah.
So, just, not that the situation isn't weird, but, the dialogue is weird.
They're doing everything they can to explain every little thread. Mm-hmm. And all the same. So is it really just these three that are in on this plan?
I don't know if it is or not, and I'm going to bring that up later. There's got to be other people included. Yeah. Because there's things that happen later in this episode that somebody else has to be in on this. Otherwise, Mace Windu, because Yoda's not going out and beating feet and going around and doing stuff. But Mace Windu's been busy if it's only these three.
Right.
As they're having their conversation, this droid shaves Obi-Wan's head and beard. And he looks really weird when he doesn't have hair.
Yeah. It's super disconcerting.
Now, I'm guessing that the character model probably has a skull shape that hair is put onto. But he looks weird,
I honestly don't know. I honestly think they had to kind of figure out
retrofit a bald skull.
Yeah, I really think everything was just drawn at once, right?
Yeah, and it's not even a razor. It's a vacuum.
I was going to say, it looks like the weird vacuum from Teletubbies.
It looks like the vacuum from Teletubbies, but operating like the vacuum from Wayne's World.
Yes. So it's just kind of
just kind of
roaming
the hair
face
off of
and the
his
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't understand how it works.
I don't either. And then another thing I don't really understand how it works is what happens next.
Yes. Please get into this because I have so many questions about this.
So you hear a droid say something about facial transformation loaded. Mm-hmm. And then you see some shit on a screen and Obi-Wan lays down and he takes an injection in the neck.
Right. What
seems to be an injection. He gets stuck with a big-ass needle in his neck. So I'm guessing he's being injected with something. He's got some dramatic moaning in pain, and then his face starts to transform. And now he looks like this guy that was in the bar, complete with tattoos.
Yep. Which I don't understand.
I'm thinking this has to be some micro-robotic...
Okay. The Wikipedia says it's via nanotechnology. That's all it says.
Right.
There's no further details on this. It is some bullshit polyjuice potion is all it is. Because if they've had this technology the entire time, why have they not used this any other fucking time? What's the limits of it, too?
It's never been used in the past, and it doesn't get used in the future. And I really feel like there was a lot of dialogue here, and there could have been something about, hopefully this experimental technology works or whatever.
Something, right? But, it's just fucking weird because, okay, polyjuice potion is a big part of Harry Potter. Fucking face masks are a massive, iconic part of Mission Impossible.
Right.
Right? So, I will buy those in those universes because of how they get explained, right?
Uh-huh.
And also the fact that it's just kind of built into those universes, right?
Right.
And there are still limits on them. There are still huge limits on what those can do. Polyjuice potion, it's a long process to create. You got to get a bunch of shit, right?
And you have to get a sample of the person you want to turn into. And then on top of it, there's a timeline included with it also, where it only lasts fucking 2 hours or whatever.
It takes a long time to make, and there's a limit on how long you have as the person, right?
Yes.
And then the face masks in Mission Impossible, you still have to scan the person's face, and you have to then 3D print the shit, right?
Man, that would suck to wear somebody else's face that's made out of shit.
Well, there's that. I will even buy Face Off, even though that doesn't make any fucking sense. The bone structure issue.
this is essentially what we have here is Star Wars Face Off, and instead of actually taking someone's face off, they just do it via injection.
So it's weird too, because like you see the bone structure like rearranging itself under Obi-Wan's face.
Well, that's the nanotechnology, right?
I don't. Is it?
It is. That's totally what that is.
How does that work?
He's injected with a whole bunch of nanobites that are programmed to move under the surface of his skin, which probably has to hurt like a motherfucker.
Right.
He's gonna have some bruising here. Where the tattoo comes from, I'm not really sure, but that's where the bone structure shit comes from. My question is, what if they did this to Plo Koon? Is he going to look like this guy, but the rest of him's going to be the same, and he's going to have the Keldorian hand claws, you know?
Does it only work within the same species? Like, or even then, like, could Jar Jar become Boss Nass? Like,
yeah.
What are the rules here?
I don't know. I think it would depend on how big the injection needle is and how many of the nanobots you're injecting into your body.
Like, I don't understand, because we had that, speaking of Jar Jar, like, we had that other episode where the entire plot revolved around him looking like the other dude when all they needed was some fucking nanotech, I guess.
Which one was that?
It was the one where, like, Anakin and Padme were like, hey, Jar Jar, you look just like the... And then it was like the separatist.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that Obi-Wan looked just like another dude. Yeah, I totally got you.
Jar Jar. Yeah. So, yeah, speaking of Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Like, and so...
Wait, so Obi-Wan is Jar Jar?
Yes.
Nice.
But I'm not going to lie. This episode loses me right here. Like, right fucking here it loses me.
I'm willing to move past it. Like, obviously there's a lot of questions, but as far as a mechanic to get Obi-Wan where he needs to be, it works well enough. As you've said, we've seen this type of body transformation technology, be it magic or other, in many different forms before. And so I think it's kind of just accepted as plot convenience, you know?
I just think even in the Star Wars universe, it needs, like you said, just like 2 more lines of explanation. And the fact that we never see this again. Right? Like, ever.
And I think that could also add to the dramatic effect of what's going on, because if it is like some new fucking untested thing, then it's going to put Obi-Wan more in peril, right? Like, the reason that Han Solo being put into carbonite is like such a big thing because it seems like untested technology. But then,
and just not everybody survives the carbonite freezing process.
Right. But then we find out that Darth Vader does this because he knows it's going to work, because he, as Anakin Skywalker, a decade and a half earlier, did this with him and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and a bunch of clones.
Exactly.
So it kind of takes a little bit deflates the balloon a little bit.
Oh, surely, yeah.
And the fact that Obi-Wan now looks like this other guy doesn't, like, there's no tension to it, right?
Like, here's the thing. It's like, my disbelief is suspending from a pretty thick wire, but here it completely snaps.
Okay.
Right.
Does it
completely falls apart?
Does it get better for you at all?
We'll discuss that as we go along.
All right. So moving forward from here, we go back to the bar. Or no, I guess we cut over. Yeah, we go back to the bar, right? And
yeah, we go back to the bar.
There's a droid or somebody that comes up.
We get the name of the assassin.
Yeah, it's Reiko Hardeen. So, meanwhile, the assassin, a bounty hunter named Reiko Hardeen.
I'm not gonna lie, I kept accidentally thinking Hardee's in my head.
Oh yeah, it's got 2 E's and everything.
Yeah. It's just that one extra N at the end.
Carl's Jr. gets
Yes.
called into a back room or something. He's like, hey, your employer's here and wants to pay you. So he throws a bunch of credits down, buys a round for the entire bar. It seems a little financially irresponsible. You know, if you're like, when it's payday, I'm not like, I'm buying fucking everybody a drink. I'm like, sweet,
Right.
I'm going to go get my check. Like, peace out, people.
Yeah. Like, I got shit to pay besides this.
Right.
So I just want to ask, reveal the next bit, and then I have a question.
So they go into this back room, and you can hear Obi-Wan talking, and then he reveals himself to Reiko, looking just like Reiko, and then Reiko's like, what the fuck? And then we also see Mace Windu comes out, and the dude is apprehended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did Obi-Wan hire Reiko to kill him?
That's what I was going to ask. So I'm pretty sure that's what the Yoda Mace conversation is about. It's
totally is.
It's that the Jedi paid a bounty hunter to kill Obi-Wan, right?
Right. So either Obi-Wan or Mace Windu tracked this guy down and said, kill Obi-Wan.
Now, here's my question. Does that go in a ledger somewhere?
No.
Because they still have to pay him. So where do those funds come from?
Well, they didn't pay him.
Well, they have
He
to...
He doesn't get paid until afterwards.
So they just don't like withdraw money at all or anything. They just quietly make this deal and don't pay him.
Yeah.
Like they don't. Yeah. Right. Okay.
You see,
then answers that question.
That's the deception.
There you go. That's the deception of this episode, is that they did not pay this guy for doing the job. But he brings him he himself brings it up right in the next scene where he's getting questioned, and they are trying to pull like sort of a confession out of him. But then because they revealed Obi-Wan is still alive, he says then, and he has a good point, that he can't get taken in for something he didn't do.
Yeah, he said, I'm confessing to a murder I didn't even commit. This is crazy.
Right.
This is the way I see the scene playing out. So Mace Windu has like this little ping pong eyeball type electronic device. It's kind of large.
Like an old yak back. Yeah.
Right. And I imagine Mace like talk, and the guy's like, all right, this is what happened. You know, like that whole scene from Goonies where Chunk is interrogated and they're like, tell the truth, and he's like, and then when I was 6 I faked wetting the bed.
Yeah.
But it's Rico Hardin doing this, you know. And I think that Mace was just trying to get him to talk, because what they're doing is they're tracking his vocal patterns, because this thing turns out to be a
vocal modulator.
Right, which Obi-Wan has to swallow, and then I guess it stays in his throat.
Makes no fucking sense. I don't Okay, if they have nanotech that can alter his face, but he needs to swallow about what looks to be, I don't know, just slightly smaller than ping pong ball sized.
It's easily ping pong ball size, man. This thing's like a fucking golf ball or a round egg instead of an egg-shaped egg.
Yeah. So, and then it crawls up his arm and then goes in his mouth like one of the spider bots from fucking Minority Report.
Yeah.
So...
and all the while, he being Obi-Wan is putting on Reiko's clothes.
Is Mason there watching him?
Yes.
And does the rest of Obi-Wan change to match
Rico
Hardin, the way Polyjuice Potion works?
I don't think so. I think
so it's face only.
I think it depends on the programming that they put into the replacement program.
How does it adjust for height and stuff? Do we have a Gattaca situation?
Nope.
Okay. So just doesn't do anything, just face only, everything else people will figure out.
I think it depends on how much info you feed into the program, right? Like they probably have a mugshot of this guy. They've got his tattoos, you know, on file, so they're able to like go that. And Obi-Wan is probably approximately, you know, the same size as this dude. It's not like a paid assassin is You know, going to walk into a bar and they're like, hey, you used to be 6'4", and now you're only 6'3.5". You're not the real guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe if Obi-Wan needed to change into Chewbacca, I don't think he's going to grow a whole bunch of hair. Maybe it would, like, emulate his facial structure and could elongate his spine and other joints. I'm not really sure. This is the luxury of never having seen this thing in the past or in the future, is we can say it is whatever the fuck we want to.
Right.
One thing we did kind of breeze over is between Obi-Wan and Mace picking up Reiko and interrogating Reiko, we get this little cutaway scene of Anakin and Ahsoka in some type of speeder, like cruising across town. And I think Ahsoka says, did Master Yoda say where they found this guy? And Anakin's like, I don't give a shit. Like, we know where he is. We're going to get him.
Right.
Like, not even questioning anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't even care. Like, no. You know, whatever. Anakin's on a mission. He's very bereaved at this point.
He's lost a lot by this point. He's lost his mother, Qui-Gon, now Obi.
Yep.
You know.
This is why Jedi are not supposed to get attached.
No, man.
So during this confession, after Reiko says, this is fucking crazy, I'm confessing to a crime that I didn't even commit, Obi-Wan makes the comment like, hey, do we have enough? And Mace is like, yeah, I think so. And he goes, you can sleep now, and just straight makes this dude pass out.
Yeah.
This is a new Force ability, like Force
sleeping. Is this
sleeping.
like a strangle, or is it a sleep thing?
Or like a hypnosis thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It comes across more as like a hypnotic thing, because he says, and now you sleep, and just waves his hand, and the dude's chin just drops to chest.
Down.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess Qui-Gon did this to Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Right? You remember when in the
little ship thingy?
Yeah, what is that? A bongo?
Yeah, something like that.
And he just does like the Vulcan nerve pinch and is like, relax. So, you know, we've seen that in the past. It was an odd tidbit to happen. Like, I don't think they need to make this guy pass out, like, wherever they are, whatever.
Right.
But Mace wants him to go to sleep, and he does. And I think that's when Obi-Wan swallows this thing.
Can we also discuss, like, they're oddly focused on the fact that the crime of killing Obi-Wan didn't happen, but shouldn't attempted murder still be a crime in this universe?
Yes, it should.
So why not just confess to that?
Well, I mean, he'll probably
force a confession for that one.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think it really matters what he was saying. They're just trying to...
They just want the voice. Yeah.
They just want his voice.
But, like, at some point, they still need... now I'm confused, like, about how this justice system is going to work. Like, when it inevitably comes out that Obi-Wan is Hardeen, or will they never reveal that and just do the swapperoo? Like,
man, I think we'll have to get to that further down the line, because I don't remember what the outcome of Ruko Hardeen is.
I honestly don't remember this character at all. But, like, here's my question. So, like, just thinking forward, right?
Uh-huh.
So, like, let's say you do a body swap for somebody who supposedly killed somebody. Later, it comes out that person's alive, right? So, therefore, in Reiko's case, that is still correct. But then would you have to have...
Fucking mistrial, man.
Mistrial, right. But would you then have to have a separate trial for the attempted murder of Obi-Wan? Going by U.S. constitutional law shit?
Yes, but... So if you are committed... Let's talk this through. If you are found guilty of murder, would it be... what is it?
Double jeopardy?
Is it double jeopardy? Is that what it's called?
Well, double jeopardy is if you commit the same crime twice, or you can't be tried for the same crime twice.
Right. So would it be if you are convicted of murder of somebody and they turn out not to be dead, is it double jeopardy to go to trial for attempted murder?
No, because that's a different crime.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
I think that
some legal expert could tell me wrong, but yeah.
All the lawyers out there listening to this show, head on over to notthenerds.com, hit us up, and let us know what we're missing.
I'm genuinely curious. Because, like, I know, like, that old movie Double Jeopardy that we all remember very well with Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones. Is that who's in that movie?
Yeah.
That movie makes one mistake with how Double Jeopardy works, which is she is framed for killing the guy. The guy comes back, and then she kills him again, and therefore she walks scot-free because you can't get tried for the same twice or for the same crime. But the crime still is in a time and place. So she could then actually get...
Yeah, but she already served her time, right? I think that's the...
Sort of, but that doesn't have to weigh into the... She would still need to be arrested and be brought to trial.
I got you. Like, if I rob the Quickie Mart down the street and I go to jail for it and I get out and I rob the same Quickie Mart, I can't be like, Double Jeopardy, bitches!
Exactly. Yes. Because it's... Crime also involves the time as well. So
I would have to destroy all the clocks before I did it, and then I'd be good because there would be no time.
Yes. But in this case, though, it's very curious to me because we are dealing with the same crime at the same time and place. So, like, if he gets tried for killing Obi-Wan at this certain location and time, but it turns out Obi-Wan is alive, can they then hold a trial for attempted murder at the same time and place? That's where I'm confused. And I feel like because it's a different crime, then there's a mistrial and retrial. I don't know.
I don't feel like there was a trial at all.
Right. That's the other issue here.
So I don't think we have to worry about that.
Right.
What we
Could you imagine if this episode went through the entire process of Obi-Wan pretending to be Reiko, needing to be going through like that month-long process of trial?
I can imagine that completely. Space Law and Order.
Right.
So with Anakin as a witness.
Yes.
Speaking of Anakin, that's all
I have on that issue, so we can move on.
Yeah, speaking of Anakin, enter Anakin and Ahsoka into the bar, and he's like, "Where's Reiko? I need to see him because I'm sad." And they're like, "Yeah, he's in the back." And they just
It's like that snake guy again, too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't care, man.
In the back.
I like this Snake Eyes character, and I need to find out more about him.
Right.
So Anakin goes in back, and Reiko Hardeen is supposedly drunk and sleeping on a windowsill or something. No Obi-Wan around. No Mace Windu around. Nope. So he's taken into custody and immediately dropped off at prison.
Yep. Just straight to prison. No trial.
Straight to prison, and then straight to orange jumpsuit and lunch.
Sludge. Space
it is
sludge
that comes out of a tube that's just like squirted on a tray with some real nice sound effects. At this point, we've got, there's just like a whole host of characters. We get another shark guy.
Yep.
I like this shark guy much more than the swimming underwater shark guy that was a douchebag.
Yeah. I like the design. I just...
Right.
Yeah,
this design feels more believable.
Sort of, yeah.
Than bendy leg turns into dorsal fin.
Finny, yeah.
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 Anyway, this guy comes up and he's talking shit to Reiko, and Reiko fucking stabs his hand to the table with a fork. And he does have some nice quips where this guard's like, "What are you guys doing down there?" And he's like, "Just playing with my food."
Yep.
Dude pulls fork out of his hand and runs away like a coward, shall we say.
Yeah.
All of this attracts the attention of Moralo Evil, or Moral Evil, who comes up and talks to Reiko Hardin. And I think he asked him like, "Hey, why'd you kill that Jedi? Was it for money or revenge?" And Reiko says, "Maybe it's because I was bored." Because the only info that they have on Evil is that he killed his mother when he was like 8 because he was bored. Which is so terrible and specific.
I will say, so between the transformation, the swallowing of the thing, and that detail, this is a pretty grotesque episode, oddly enough. Like, there have been more visually violent episodes, but I would call this one, like, emotionally or just... It's grotesque in a different way, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't even end there. Like, there's more stuff that happens later. So basically right now, Moralo is befriending Reiko, right? And then from there, he's like, "I'm gonna keep my eye on you," or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And then we cut to the weightlifting scene, right? Is that what's next?
No, I think we go to the cell first.
You're right.
Moralo's cell, yeah.
Yeah, so Reiko is dropped off at a prison cell, and lo and behold, it's Moralo's cell, and he starts to tell him about his plan to kidnap the Chancellor, and then also, out of happenstance, Cad Bane is his cellmate. So he cuts that info short, and he's like, "I'm not breaking this guy out also," because that's what Cad's there to do, is break out evil. Evil then, like, the joke is made, the cell isn't big enough for the three of us, and Evol's like, "Clearly, guards!" And then he's like, "I'm pretty important here, so I get what I want." So again, are these clones in on it? Are these clone guards in on it? Like, why would...
Not at all.
So they were just corrupted.
Yes, I think they're corrupted clones. I don't think they're in on it at all.
Okay. Obi-Wan / Reiko is taken away. And we go to the gym.
Yep.
Where there's a Trandoshan lifting weights, and Reiko just walks up and, like, gives him a look, and the guy's like, "Hey, we were just leaving." Sits down on the workout bench, the bench press bench, and reaches underneath, and there's a comm. There's an earpiece, so he sticks the earpiece in, and he calls Mason Yoda.
Yep.
2 questions. Is Mace the one that put this earpiece there? Or is Obi-Wan? Like, we get back into that, how many people are in on this thing? Because if it's only the 3 of them, Mace has been running around doing a lot of shit.
Here's what I think it is. I don't think anybody's fully in on it. I think Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Mace are the only ones that know the full plan. I think Mace has probably made other contacts to put pieces in line. So think like Joker at the beginning of The Dark Knight sort of situation, right? It's like, "Hey, who are you?" It's like, "No, I don't kill you. I kill the bus driver." "Who? What?"
Such a good moment.
So, like that. That's what I'm imagining happening. All the same, I still think it's Yoda and Mace that still need to divvy up a lot of work here to get this all in line. But I do think that some clones are probably privy to the fact that there's some sort of insider in the prison. They just aren't aware of who.
Okay.
Right? So some clone probably planted that or something. I have no evidence for that, right? But that's one of the ways I see it happening. I can't imagine like Mace would walk in there at night and plant that in there, right?
I can totally imagine him sneaking around.
But I mean, it wouldn't look out of place for like Mace to come in and do like an inspection on the prison, right?
So he's just gonna like do that thing where he's like stretching side to side and be like, I feel like I need to pump some iron right now. I gotta work this kink out of my back.
Which brings up another question. When I saw this workout room, have we ever seen a Jedi just like full on like bodybuilding?
No.
So I was just curious about that because we've seen Ben Swolo and we've seen Anakin.
Oh, well, then we have.
Well, we've never seen him work out.
I mean, clearly he did.
We've seen the results of, and we've seen Anakin waking up in bed with some mighty fine pecs on him too. So
he's got pecs and abs and the remnants of, well, I guess he's got biceps and whatnot, but I feel like his bionic arm would, do something about that. It's all weird when you think about it. Like, superheroes being ripped, like, Superman shouldn't be ripped. He should be, like, lean, because even if he did, like, 10,000 fucking reps, he's not going to build muscle because it's, like, super light for him.
Right, exactly. I don't disagree. Yeah, I'm down for, like, that, like, slender Christopher Reeve / Brandon Routh version.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why visually it would make sense for Superman
but
to be ripped.
Not like the Superman animated series.
Right, and not like Henry Cavill,
Right.
Because Henry Cavill's like a fucking beast, right? Like, I understand visually why that would only make sense for just us to comprehend that a guy is picking up like a fucking oil tanker or an oil rig.
I mean, you know, he's got to look the part too. You don't want some fat schlub like saving the day.
Right. So I get it, but I also agree with you that he would have to go through like Mr. Incredible lengths to get that jacked.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Incredible is a pretty good analogy there.
Yeah. As soon as we saw the workout room, I was very curious that these exist in this universe. Not that I discounted it, I just never explicitly thought about it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got on that.
My second question, when Obi-Wan comes over to Yoda and Mace, he tells them Cad Bane's involved, so he wasn't able to get the information, and Yoda's basically like, shit. And Mace is like,
we didn't see that coming.
Oh, fuck, we didn't see that coming. Like, what do we do? Oh, you just stay in there. Mace is like, it might take us a while to get you out. Obi-Wan makes the joke like, ooh, that's all right. I'm kind of getting used to playing the bad guy, which I think this is a double joke because he's voiced by James Arnold Taylor, right? But I guess James Arnold Taylor has played the villain in the past.
Right.
So disregard that. But back to my question, there's a hollow of Reiko Hardin that Yoda and Mace can see, right? So is Reiko sitting on this workout bench with like a hollow projection of Yoda and Mace Windu, and everybody's just either not acknowledging it or...
No. Well, we see it from his side, and that never shows up. We do see his side of it. Huh?
It should have, and people should have been like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Well, I'm not going to lie. Like, even the way he's holding the comm and just, like, talking to himself, I'm amazed nobody did notice him all the same.
Right.
Like, hologram or not, right? So that part's a little weird to me. Like, it's weird that you see him holding this comm openly in his hand when he should have made, like, more effort to hide that, right? He's not being stealthy at all.
Not at all.
So
he's using this thing like a fucking 1999 Nextel.
Right. So I just found that part curious about this whole situation, but
also he uses the codename Ben. Like he's like, "Hey guys, this is Ben."
Yeah. I like that little detail.
I mean, I think it's silly.
Really?
Yeah, they can see him like, and for, like what if he is overheard, like you're saying, they're like, fucking Reiko's over here sitting on a bench talking to himself, calling himself Ben. Like,
Ben.
what the hell is going on
That
here?
part's true. I just imagine if somebody was intercepting these, right? Like, I just think Yoda and Mace need something to call Reiko to differentiate him from the real Reiko, right?
Okay.
So,
Like Carl's Jr., because his last
Right.
name is Hardy's.
yeah. So just call him Hardee's or something. But I think it's just so that if somebody were to walk in or overhear Yoda and Mace, that they wouldn't think that Yoda and Mace are full on collaborating with Reiko Hardeen.
Oh, so you're thinking on that side. I was thinking on the other side. I was thinking on the prisoner side, not on the Jedi side. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's something on that side that they gave him a code name.
Then I guess I'm okay with it.
Because then, like, let's say, like, Reiko somehow does do another body swap.
Uh-huh.
And they just keep, Yoda and Mace just keep calling him Reiko. And Reiko's like, yeah, like, that's cool. I can keep going with that, you know.
Uh-huh.
And thus they would never figure out if the switch happened back again. Like, you need some sort of code word, right?
Which is Ben.
Ben. Yeah, in this case, it's Ben.
Huh.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. That's what I got for that.
Yeah. So after that, we cut over to, we go back to lunch. Back in the lunchroom. Mm-hmm. And maybe not every time, but often when we have like a cut from interior to other interior, we get like another establishing shot of the outside of the prison.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's a kind of cool design, but I feel like after the first one, it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, like, there's only these two locations really after a certain point.
Right.
It's either Jedi Temple or prison.
Yep. But we're back in the lunchroom, and little Boba comes up, and he's pissed at Reiko because apparently Reiko took a bounty from him, and he wants payback. Boba and Bane have a little like visual eye lockage going on, kind of a hey, what's up nod, and Bane Boba starts a fight with Reiko. This creates pandemonium, and then it ends up in a riot, and prisoners have weapons from the clones and all this shit.
Why do the clones open up a doorway to which the inmates escape immediately?
Because all the clones in there have been incapacitated, so they need to bring in more people.
Why isn't there more of an airlock situation? Like, if a riot breaks out in a prison lunchroom, like, is it just the one door and then it's like outside?
Well, it's not outside, but it's like out in the hallway. Yeah.
Still, it's convenient. It's oddly convenient.
The more appropriate question is, why don't these have prisoners with magnetic boots like we see in every other sci-fi prison? That's the question.
Locks them down. Right.
Right. Immediate
Again,
lockdown.
we have nanotech, but nothing else. It all went to nanotech.
Huh.
And the voice emulator.
Yep, the ping pong eyeball spider voice emulator of choking hazard. But yeah, Moralo and Cad Bane are sitting there eating lunch, and Moralo's like, man, this shit's kind of crazy. And Cad's like, no, it's part of my plan. Now we escape. So they get up, run off. Obi-Wan chases after them. He's like, hey, don't forget about me. And Cad's like, I didn't fucking invite you. I didn't forget about you. Like, don't worry about it. But Obi tags along, and we get this little weird scene of a body being put into a casket-like box, and some troopers kind of discussing what's going on there. Basically, this dude's dead. So it's revealed they're going to sneak out through the mortuary. Mm-hmm. And Obi-Wan has to sneakily use some force skills to pick this lock because
how does that work? Again, like, this is a weird...
I think we have seen this before in the Jedi Temple, in like the restricted section of the Harry Potter library,
I remember that.
right?
Yes. But this is different though, because like that's specifically a force lock, right?
Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe this is just an ability. I don't know. But he uses the force to pick this lock. And later Cad thinks it's, awfully convenient. But so they head into the mortuary, and then the guards are coming back. So they hide in the casket things because, as Cad Bane says, like they take the casualties and ship them to the crematorium. Mm-hmm. So when you were talking earlier about this episode and how, it's kind of gross, right?
Yeah.
This just adds to that. Like there's a separate room in the prison to transport dead prisoners from one area to an incinerator.
Yep. And then Obi-Wan has to get in one with the dead body.
With a dead body.
Yep.
And so the guards come back in and they're like, well, with this riot going on out there, we better make some room. So they ship all three of these things when they should know that there's only like one body in there. They only need to ship one of them. They ship all three of them.
Right.
Immediately, it is noticed that there are life signs coming from the caskets. And one of the guards says, there's a guard eating a sandwich. So it's like the third meal that we've had. We've had a cantina. We've had 2 lunch scenes and a turkey sandwich. And the way he's bit the corner off of one side and the corner off of another side. This is an untraditional way to eat a sandwich. And I'm wondering if this is like a clone thing or if it's just this guy's specific.
Is he eating from the outside in? He's just gonna rotate it around, like
he's gonna like bite the 4 corners off, then he's gonna have 8 corners, then he's gonna be able to take like 8 smaller bites, and he's gonna end up with something resembling a circle, and then he's gonna go from there. Yep. I'm not really sure. But he's the one that notices, we got some life signs detected, and another dude's like, oh, I'll check it out. Everybody jumps out, pandemonium. Obi-Wan ends up with a blaster in the holding a blaster in the face of the sandwich eater, but doesn't pull the trigger. Cad Bane turns around, shoots him, and gives him a, hey, what the fuck? And Obi-Wan's like, trigger jammed. So they take off. I think, again, Cad's like, I don't want to take this guy with us. And Moralo is like, nah, he's coming. So at this point, to break out of the prison, they just run out the door. And even though there's like a riot going on inside, there's just like 3 or 4 troopers just like do. And Cad Bane shows that he's badass, like jumps off a pillar and kicks one dude in the face and shoots another trooper and takes out the other 2. And conveniently, there's a ship there. I guess somebody was visiting a relative or something and hops in and is gone. Yep. So they take off. They land somewhere else on Coruscant. Get out of that speeder. Get onto a starship. Cad again, like, brings up the convenience of Reiko being there. Like, right place, right time. Able to open the lock. Didn't shoot the trooper. But Moralo's like, nah, he's coming with us. And they take off, blast into space, and Moralo basically congratulates Obi-Wan, right? And officially invites him along on this mission. Yep. And they shoot off into the stars and cue loud music, and that's the end of this one.
Indeed it is, yeah.
Yeah. Where do we go from there?
I think I've discussed all the major points I actually want with this episode.
Okay.
Which is nanotech.
Yeah. That's what you got out of this is nanotech.
Nanotech, man. That fucking nanotech. That's going to be the big sticking point I have with this episode.
Okay.
But beyond that, like, I think everything else is pretty straightforward, honestly. Like, once you get past that conceit of a plot point, of a plot development, I kind of like the greatest hits of, like, Bosk and Boba showing up in the prison.
It is totally like a rogues gallery of bounty hunters. They were in like the bounty hunter wing of the prison, and everybody gets to eat lunch together and hang out. It's interesting that Boba is in like an adult jail. His character model is different than we've seen before, so it's not like the young cadet trooper.
Yeah. He's slightly taller.
He's slightly older. It's implied that there is more of a history going on, but I thought the last time that we saw him was like when he tried to kill Mace Windu, and wasn't he taken into custody at that point?
Yes.
So
that sounds right.
At what point did he meet up with Hardy's Carl's Jr.?
Is it prior to that? Probably.
I don't know, because like prior to that, like he was training under or like Aura Singh had like taken him under her wing, and he was like growing in his bounty hunterness, because even though he wants to kill Mace Windu, he didn't want to kill any of the cadets, and it was a revenge thing. It wasn't you know what I'm saying?
Are we sure the beef is real, or was it Cad paying off Boba to start the fight?
Yeah, but how would Cad know? You know, like if it was
Cad is just telling Boba, "Hey, I need this guy distracted because I don't trust him. Like, start a fight with this guy."
Okay.
So he's like part of the distraction, and we get out of here.
So even if it was the real Hardeen, and Boba came up and was like, "Hey, you stole my fucking bounty," Hardeen would be like, "Piss off, kid," and then
I don't know who you
then
are.
Boba would hit him anyway.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
That's the only other explanation I have. So
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So should we? Anything? What else you got for this?
I mean, we'll give this one final judgment. I give this one a thumbs up. I enjoy it. I like Cad Bane. As you said, I like this overexposure to like so many bounty hunters that we've seen in the past. It's like all of the sub villains. Like they're not they're not the super bad guys of the episodes, but they're baddies in the universe that have all been collected together. One thing I think that Yoda said earlier, Yoda or Mace, I don't remember who, said something like, "Oh, I guess that's why it was so easy to capture Cad Bane, because he's there to break out
sort of plot,
Eval, but Eval wasn't even in prison yet." Like, there's, when you dissect these things down to the dialogue, sometimes stuff doesn't add up. Overall, I think it was a well-written episode. I like the way it was crafted. It's something that we haven't seen before. It's nice that Anakin is pushed to the sideline. Like, it's not Anakin that's coming to save the day. It's literally Anakin was fooled so that he doesn't get in the way of what's going on. I like that.
Yeah.
The nanobots, it doesn't bother me. I'm cool with it.
Nanobots bother me. Nanobots definitely bother me, but I'm still going to give this a thumbs up, actually, too.
Cool.
I agree with you for the most part, except for the nanobots. But, like, I agree. This is a fun episode. I like the open ending that we get, but it still feels like a complete episode. Right?
Yeah, it totally is.
The story of this is complete.
We could totally have, next week we could have Anakin and Ahsoka going off and doing something else, or we could go over to Rex and we could come back to this and it would feel natural.
Right.
That being said, this is the first part of, I think, a 3-parter, and next week we're getting the next section of that. We're deep enough into the Clone Wars now that we are in kind of like arc territory where we have these 2 and 3ers going on or more, and it's less of the one-offs. We're no longer an anthology show.
Yeah.
Even as far as like chronology goes, I think we only have like 1 jump, maybe 2 more for the rest of the series.
Nice.
So
yeah, no, I definitely I still had fun with this episode.
Yeah,
still a fun episode, and I agree. Like the story's told well. There's definitely a big leap of faith that you have to take with it for sure. But I think beyond that, it's fine. This is a fun little episode, and it does kind of put the Jedi in a different position than we haven't seen them before, right?
And you know what? I'm thinking that potentially when Obi-Wan inevitably explains to Anakin, like, how this all went down, maybe he's going to explain a little bit more about the nanotech thing.
Hopefully.
Maybe,
it's still weird
maybe
that
not.
we just never see it again, you know.
Maybe we have and we just didn't know it. Maybe Snoke was all nanotech, man. He's going to come back as the Emperor.
Could you imagine, though, like, if so, in, like, the next Star Wars movie, it's not Palpatine, it's just nanotech?
I totally could. That's why he's in the chair with all the electronics, and again, really, in a chair because...
It's Snoke with legs. It's Snoke with robo-legs that nanotech himself, and...
See, I was going to say it's not robo-legs. It's he's just attached to the chair.
Right.
And he can just float around.
It's just that torso that's just taped to the chair.
I'm imagining like a George Jetson scenario where it's like...
Oh, God.
That was a terrible... whatever noise that was.
But yeah, we'll see. So next week we got Friends and Enemy. That's what's coming up.
Friends and Enemies, plural.
Plural, yeah. Because the last episode prior to this was a friend in need, so a lot of friends going on.
Yeah.
So Friends and Enemies coming up next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, you might have a different opinion. And if you do, you can reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook. Those links are on notthenerds.com. Head over there. Also included are links to our YouTube feed if that's, you know, your flavor of the week. That'd be cool. You know, head over there, hit that like button, subscribe, shoot us a comment. By the way, we did have a comment a little bit ago. Sorry, not a comment, but a review on YouTube, and we will have to cover that because I don't have it in front of me, and I don't want to take the time to look it up and stretch this thing out. But shouts out to you. That'll be coming your way. Yeah, so anyway, other than giving our thanks to Kevin, Lindsay, and Anthony, as we have in the past, I think we can close this one out, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Until next week, I've been Lorenzo.
I've been Kevin.
He's out there that you're looking for.
Bye-bye.